Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do beer stuff. One of those beer things we do, reviews. It's the bulk of what we do, but I like to play it off a little bit. DSSOLVR. I think this is my first DSSOLVR beer. Yeah, this is their pub ale called What a Sight. This is a 4.5% pub ale from Asheville, North Carolina. Courtesy of my boy Keith. If you don't know who Keith is, that would be 93 Lumber, spelled out in numbers. He does the old beer stuff too. He went down for a couple days with his awesome partner Katie, and he brought me back some beer. So thanks, yo. This is a Riverbend Southern Select Oats Proximity Mild Malt and Target hops, or the butcher bill on this one. So yeah, I haven't had anything from DSSOLVR. I don't think. Maybe one. I don't know. They were on one of my favorite podcasts, Steal This Beer, a couple years ago, talking about opening. Not gonna lie to you, knee-jerk reaction was they kind of sound like they're trying to manufacture a brewery. That was, you know, like it, I don't know. Didn't sound like brewers talking. It sounded like people who planned a brewery. It doesn't make sense. I don't know. I'm just weird. Anyway, so I'm curious to see how this one comes off. Specifically, more a pub ale. It was alright. Kind of reminds me. There's some kind of floating in the clouds, ice, zombie, Pee-wee kind of thingy going on there. I don't know. As far as the beer goes, yeah, it looks like a pub ale. Maybe just a skosh cleaner than you'd expect, but definitely has that nice kind of copper coin kind of coloration. Halfy pinky finger, just off-white head. Let's see if we can get a nose in this sucker. My swirl game is off. Soft little maltiness, nothing too crazy. Not getting any kind of rich or caramels or brown breads or anything. Just soft maltiness. Nothing yeasty wise, nothing hop wise. Done and done. Doesn't smell. It reminds me a little bit. I was gonna say, doesn't smell like a non-alcoholic beer. It has that kind of lack of impact that non-alcoholic beers tend to have. But it doesn't have that undercooked doughiness, which is very important. But at the same time, you're talking about a pub ale. You're expecting the world. You do usually get some kind of malty impact on there. So let's just dive in. Cheers, y'all. Yeah. It's beer chugging beer. It's 4.5%. It's their rendition of a pub beer. Probably a little bit more bittering than I expect, so there is a bittering component to it. There's a sweetness to it, although it comes off a little bit more kind of... I'm looking for a brown breadiness here, basically. Some hint of that. It's a little bit more kind of like sourdoughy maltiness. Kind of not sour like it's sour, but that kind of maltiness going on. It's not negative. Each sip brings a little bit more impact, especially from the bittering side of things. But it just lacks a little bit of kind of depth to it. Again, you might be saying, hey, it's a 4.5% pub ale. Yeah, but nowadays, I think I think if you BJCP book this is a little bit closer to on the mark than maybe I'm giving it credit for. But in today's world, the pub ale's kind of taken, especially the American pub ale, has taken on a little bit more kind of volume, as is most American renditions of classics. So I think if you walk into a pub in England, you get one of these, I think you're more than happy. One, that it's not just shitty sour cask stuff, but it's executed well. There's no negatives to it. You can tell it's kind of like a malty beer with a little bit of bittering, probably a little bit more bittering than you'd expect, but still has this funness going on. I'm getting this soft little tannic tea thing that's building with each sip, which is fun also. Just misses something for me. Just a little bit. A little bit. So I don't mind it. I'm going to drink the whole thing. This does not get dumped. I'm going to enjoy this, watch a little bit of football. But in the grand scheme of things, let's put it this way. If I'm really going to kind of, I don't know, get on it a little bit, 4.5% pub ale. This just lacks something for me. 2.5? 3? 2.5 to 3% pub ale. I'd be like, man, I really do dig this. I really do dig this. That's where this one lands for me. Instead of being me getting on my soapbox and bitching about, you know, the 8% hazy that drinks like 6. This is a 4.5 pub ale that drinks like 2.5, 3. And that's where I want it to live, ABV-wise. You give this to me at 2.5, I'm ripping these all day. Let's put it that way. 4.5, I'll rip them, just not as much. I think that's all I have. Not much to it. Let's talk about it. One of the better pub ales I've had is like, no, but not one of the worst. We're putting it in a conversation. Not Mount Rushmore, obviously. Just saying, what do you guys think about the Zolver? Have you been there? Have you had a bunch of their beers? Have you had anything that's amazing? Have you had this particular beer? What are your thoughts on it? All that down there. So there you go. A review on the Bucks. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much for the beer again, Keith and Katie. Hope to see you next time. Cheers all.